All right, for this explainer, we're diving into a philosophy so challenging that it's been actively rejected, even labeled controversial. It really forces you to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. What if everything you've been taught about being good is actually just a system designed to keep you from becoming great?
This quote right here, it's the whole conflict in a nutshell. The argument is that what society often calls evil isn't really about malice at all. Instead, it's just anything or anyone that dares to disrupt the comfortable slumber of the majority. This is the battle we're looking at, the creator versus the crowd. So, our story starts in what the source material calls the verdant valley. And at first glance, it looks like paradise, right? It's safe, it's comfortable, it's peaceful, but this philosophy argues it's actually a cage, a place of spiritual decay where that peace is just another name for a slow, agonizing stagnation. This is the domain of the herd. This is a community that's actually proud to say they've invented happiness. But you gotta look at how they define that happiness. It's all about what's missing. No risk, no struggle, no discomfort. It's a world that's been flattened out, where every mountain is leveled so that nobody ever has to climb, and of course, nobody can ever fall.
Okay, so what's the moral code in this valley? Well, it's a whole system built around a single, simple rule. Be harmless. Virtues like pity, humility, meekness, they're put on a pedestal, not because they're inherently noble, but because they're tools of control. They make sure no one stands out, no one challenges the group, and no one, absolutely no one, dares to disturb that collective sleep.
Now, the worldview of this valley doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's actually defined by what it's against. And that leads us straight to the core idea of this whole philosophy, the massive difference between two kinds of morality.
And this, right here, lays it all out perfectly. You've got two paths. On the left, there's the herd, down in the valley, just seeking safety and comfort. On the right, you have the solitary creator, climbing the mountain, heading straight for the storm. It's a choice between a life that avoids suffering at all costs and one that actually uses suffering as a tool to create something more.
And here is the absolute key to understanding this. The morality of the herd isn't born from strength, it's born from weakness. It's a morality of pure negation. It doesn't look at itself and say, this is what is good. Instead, it points a finger at the powerful and declares, that is evil. This is the concept of ressentiment. It's like a reactive bitterness that completely re-engineers morality itself, turning weakness into a virtue and strength into a sin.
On the flip side, you get this incredibly demanding four-step path to becoming a creator. And just listen to the language. It's almost violent, isn't it? Drive the nails into your own desire for comfort. Reject herd mentality values. This isn't about passively finding yourself. It's about actively, consciously forging yourself through a painful struggle.
So this leads us to the central mystery, doesn't it? If this path leads to a higher, more powerful self, why is it so hated? Why does the crowd in the valley point up at the creator on the peak and call them evil?
Well, according to this philosophy, the answer has nothing to do with actual morality. It's all psychology. The creator is called evil for one simple reason. Their ambition, their struggle, their very existence is a direct threat to the herd's most sacred treasure, their undisturbed sleep. And you can see how dominant institutions get sort of repurposed to maintain this comfortable status quo. They become a kind of protective shield over the valley. But here's the thing, that shield isn't protecting them from some outside threat. It's protecting them from the internal need to suffer, to grow, and to change. Now, this is a truly radical reinterpretation of a sacred symbol. The philosophy claims the herd has taken an icon of profound suffering and twisted it into an excuse for doing nothing, a shield. It becomes a way to worship somebody else's pain so that you never have to endure your own, letting you feel virtuous without any of the personal sacrifice. And then the philosophy snatches that symbol right back. It argues the whole point isn't passive worship, it's active self-overcoming. It's about taking a hammer to your old self, crucifying the parts of you that are weak, comfortable, and perfectly content to just stay down there in the valley. And all this brings us to the philosophy's ultimate conclusion, the path of the creator. It's not some grim march toward pain. It's actually presented as this deeply life-affirming act, a joyful yes to the very struggle that the valley fears the most.
So at this point, the moral language is completely flipped on its head. From the creator's perspective, way up there on the peak, the valley's goodness, its safety and comfort, It's not just unappealing, it's pathetic. It's a life-denying weakness, a stagnation that the herd has dangerously mislabeled as a virtue.
This, then, is the ultimate goal. Not happiness, not security, not peace. The goal is the birth pang, that agony and ecstasy of forging a new self. It's a journey symbolized by scarred hands, a solitary climb, and having the strength to stand all alone above the clouds.
So in the end, this philosophy doesn't offer you an easy answer. It just leaves us all with a pretty provocative question. Which path is calling to you? Are you seeking the comfort of the valley, or are you willing to endure the climb for the chance to create something new, both in the world and within yourself? The choice, it suggests, is all yours.